Thinking about fixing tired spring soil without dumping on a bunch of fertilizer? Welcome to rootInsect.com.
And today we're talking cover crops, which sounds a little nerdy until you see what they do for a garden bed that's been through winter.
Yeah, because spring is when people get excited and want to plant tomatoes immediately. Meanwhile, the soil is sitting there compacted, low on organic matter, and ready to grow weeds better than vegetables.
That is painfully true. A spring cover crop is basically a short-term plant grown to help the soil, not your dinner plate. And if you pick the right one, you can improve structure, hold moisture better, feed soil life, and even cut erosion dramatically.
The erosion number jumped out at me. Under the right conditions, cover crops can reduce soil erosion by up to 90%. That's a big deal if you get those hard spring rains that turn pathways into little rivers.
Especially on sloped ground, or even just bare beds in a backyard. A living root in the soil does a lot more than people think. It holds things together, slows runoff, and keeps nutrients from washing away.
So if somebody's brand new to this, how do they choose? Because cover crop sounds like one thing, but it's really a whole menu.
Right, and the menu matters. If your soil needs nitrogen, legumes are usually the first place I'd look. Clover and vetch are the classic spring choices because they pull nitrogen from the air and help make it available in the soil system. If your bigger problem is erosion or weak structure, grasses like oats or ryegrass are useful because they put on biomass and add organic matter when you terminate them.
And then there are the troublemakers with the big roots.
You mean the brassicas?
I do. Mustard and radish always feel a little aggressive to me.
Aggressive in a good way. Those deep roots can punch into compacted layers and improve aeration and drainage. If you've got a bed that feels like a brick after rain, a brassica cover crop can help open it up.
I still think radishes are showing off.
Maybe, but if they break up hardpan, they've earned the right.
Fair enough. Timing matters too. For a lot of growers in USDA zones 4 through 8, early spring is the sweet spot, once the ground is workable, but before your main crops go in.
And don't skip the soil temperature check. A lot of poor germination problems come from planting too early. You want the soil at least around 45 degrees Fahrenheit before sowing, or you may just be feeding birds.
Which, to be fair, the birds appreciate.
They do, but your seed budget won't. Prep is pretty simple. Clear debris, lightly work the top few inches if you're tilling, then sow at the depth and spacing the seed calls for. If you're trying to avoid tillage, there are forage-friendly seed mixes made for no-till setups that can cover around 1,000 square feet, which is handy for small homesteads and larger garden plots.
I like that, because people assume cover cropping has to be complicated. It really doesn't. Though management does matter. You can't just throw seed and wander off into the sunset.
No, you need to watch for pests, disease pressure, and weed competition. If weeds are already getting ahead of you, your cover crop needs enough density to shade them out. And if you're trying to support pollinators, be mindful about how and when you terminate the stand.
I learned that the messy way. I once let clover go longer than planned because it looked nice, and then I was behind on planting by nearly 2 weeks.
That sounds exactly like you.
It was beautiful, Fiona.
I'm sure it was beautiful. But that's the trade-off. Cover crops help the next crop, but only if you work them into the schedule. If you're organized, even a basic planning app or a paper calendar can help you time planting and incorporation before summer crops go in.
So the short version is, match the crop to the problem. Legumes for nitrogen, grasses for structure and erosion control, brassicas for compaction. Plant when the soil is workable and at least 45 degrees, and don't wait so long that your cover crop becomes the main character.
Exactly. Whether it's a backyard patch or a full homestead, spring cover crops can turn tired soil into a much healthier system by summer and fall. More organic matter, better water retention, fewer bare spots, and less dependence on synthetic fertilizer is a pretty solid return for a simple planting. Thank you for listening to this edition of RootInsect.com, Conversations with Grant and Fiona.